You know, it's been often said that you can't fix a problem with the same kind of thinking that created it, yet Washington continues to do that in a regular basis. We continue to reward failure with just more spending. Washington will spend billions on a program, find out that it doesn't have the results, and maybe even has the opposite results, and, well, the solution is, well, we just must have needed more money. That is the kind of thinking that must be broken here in Washington, and what we're working to change. You know, even Secretary Yellen had to admit under oath that she could not say that the Inflation Reduction Act reduced spending. We know that we American families are suffering from massive inflation. Why? Because of huge government spending. Yet what does this White House put out? A proposal that increases spending. It's the circular logic that's just crazy and falls apart under any sort of scrutiny. And the Chicken Little messaging coming from the left is extraordinary. Just, oh, the republic's going to end somehow if we find savings for the American people. And all we're saying really is to go back to pre-COVID spending. Now, most Americans, that's like, well, the pandemic's over. That sounds quite reasonable to me. Only in Washington is that the world's going to end if we go back to just what we were spending just a couple years ago before a massive pandemic hit our country. We can do this. There's a lot of ways we can find to cut. This government has a massive case of mission creep. And we just think, you know, that maybe there's some things we should stop funding. We should stop sending money to the bureaucracy to do bad things. We shouldn't pay them and give them funds to go after parents at school board meetings. We shouldn't pay them to monitor people's and manage people's Twitter accounts. We shouldn't pay them to do many things. You know, while the CDC was missing the mark on COVID, they were also supporting studies for nail salons. And most American people are like, my tax dollars are going to that sort of thing? No, we've got to bring this government back in check. Let's get back to sound fiscal policy. Let's put this government back to good governing. And the absurdity of the Biden administration, you know, I'm from South Texas. Every day, my district is dealing with what's going on at the border. And for him to somehow say that the Freedom Caucus is out there doing anything, we've been out front in the messaging of the fact and bringing the solutions of what needs to be done to fix the crisis at the border that he has done everything he can to exacerbate. But this is the kind of crazy thinking that comes from the left. They're like, well, we're spending $140 a day per migrant. You know, with inflation, we need to spend $160 a day per migrant. Plus, we might have to plus it up if more people are coming out. This is literally the absurd conversation that they bring to the table. Well, we're like, how about we secure the border? Sounds reasonable. It'll also protect our families. It'll save us. There's a lot of things we can do to bring this government into check, to pull back on the woke and weaponized spending. And before we ask the American people, before we take out another loan using them as collateral for stuff this government wants to do, all we're saying is, hey, let's check under the couch cushions maybe. Let's see if we can find some money that's hanging around somewhere that doesn't need to be spent on maybe some wants, and let's put it towards some actual needs of this federal government. Let's look what we can do to go forward to, again, get back to pre-COVID spending. That'll put us on a strong fiscally responsible path toward what's going on. And, you know, let's do what we can to shrink this government. Let's shrink Washington, and we can grow America, and the American families will be better for it.